I'm Cherylanne Skolnicki, and this is Brilliant Balance, the show for working women who are ready to shine. Each week, I bring you ideas, inspiration, and insight on balance, business, and getting it all done gracefully. You ready? Let's be brilliant. This is episode 323 of the Brilliant Balance podcast, Live Lighter in 2024. Well, here we are, my friends. Happy New Year. Welcome to the start of another brand new year. And like all New Year's, I have been feeling full of promise and possibility, and I am sure that you have too. You know, we turn that page to January of a new year, and we are immediately we take this big breath in of possibility. It's so fun. I am such a beginnings kind of person. You know, I think it's why I love mornings. It's just full of possibility. I even love Mondays, truth be told, you know, the kind of start of a new week and all of the things that might come with it. And I definitely love January. So every year when we get to January and I have the chance to take this community through the beginning of a new year, it's just one of my favorites. So forgive me if I sound a little zealous today. It's hard to harness that. You know, I'm so in love with the energy of a new beginning. And I'm also really cautious about the reality that we might quickly ruin all of that promise and possibility with unrealistic goals and resolutions. Because that's what we do as growth-oriented, really high-achieving people, like I know you are if you are a listener of this podcast. You are very likely to start weighing down all of this fresh energy of January with really big demands. You know, things that you are going to ask of yourself that are going to take a lot out of you, that are going to add time and energy demand to your plate that you may not have to give. And I want us to just take a minute to calibrate before you do that, right? Before you go into that process of setting all your goals, defining resolutions, getting ready to take the year on with gusto, I want us to just hold this bright magic of possibility for a minute before we start to weigh it down. And it's so crazy to me how quickly we do it, right? Just a couple of weeks ago, heck, a couple of days ago, we were fully in the magic of the holidays. You know, 24 hours ago, you might have been clinking champagne flutes with somebody that you love, just celebrating how magical the season has been. And in just a few days, we'll be in the reality check of, you know, those credit card bills arriving, getting on the scale or trying to get back in our clothes, our overcrowded living rooms and garages that are sort of full of these boxes of things that we've acquired. And I think we see all of that when those things start to arrive. They're like the reality check of what the holiday season and some of the excess may have done. And then we start to punish ourselves, right? Paradoxically, we take the very thing that could be our vehicle to the next level, right, of our own lives, of all of the possibilities that are inherent in this year. And instead, we turn them into punishments for ourselves by choosing things that we think we should do. I mean, check in with yourself. How often is the narrative about resolutions? You know what I need to do? You know what I need to do more of? You know what I really should be doing? I can't believe I haven't done this already. I'm so behind. I'm so off track. That frame of punishment, of kind of atoning for our sins, right? Making up for all of the things that we think we haven't done well enough. That frame of punishment leads to the language of restriction, of limits, right? We set a bunch of rules for ourselves. It's all the things we're not going to do. We have budgets and we have meal plans, and we're just slapping all of this restriction on ourselves, and it is heavy. It's the energy of no. All of the things that we're not going to be able to do can very quickly become the focus. So think back for a second, maybe to resolutions you set last year or goals that got started for you in January, not necessarily the ones that you set later in the year, because sometimes those carry better energy, honestly. But the ones that you started telling yourself you were going to do in January, how many of them were rooted in punishment and in expectations, things that you believe you should be doing? They might be your own expectations, maybe coming from a place of the voice of your inner critic. They might be your family's expectations. Maybe you have a spouse or a partner or a parent or a sibling or a child who has a strong opinion about what you should be doing this year. Maybe they're your extended family's expectations or your company's. Sometimes we set resolutions about what we are going to do better at work. Sometimes there's societal expectations. I really should be doing these things with my children. I should be doing these things with my home. I should be doing, there's a lot of shoulds associated with the energy of resolutions, particularly in the new year. So when we think about these goals, our lives that we brought with us into the new year, it's not like we come in as a blank slate. And I think that's a piece of what gets in the way. Our lives as we come into the new year are already really heavy with responsibility. And the heaviest thing we're carrying, by the way, is the weight of those expectations. That lays heavily on our shoulders. And if our resolutions and our goals for the new year become rooted in those expectations, honestly, we could get crushed under them. And I think that's why so many of us abandon our resolutions so early. Right? The data on that is astonishing. Go look it up. How often, how quickly we abandon those resolutions within the new year. It's within days for most people. And within the first month, for sure, virtually everyone has abandoned them within a month. I mean, ask any gym owner, right, what they see happen over the course of January. So the energy of the things that we think we should do when we make lists that are essentially at their core designed to punish ourselves, we're carrying a whole lot of heaviness into a season that could be filled with light. And there's an alternative. The alternative is setting our intention around things we actually want. Not the things we should want, but the things we actually want, right? Those have a much lighter energy. We actually get lit up by those. When we think about pursuing something that we actually want, not that we think we should do, totally different energy. Right? We still need time to make it happen. That's a whole different story we'll talk about another day. We still need to have the energy, the kind of energetic reserves in the tank to make it happen. But it's like the time and energy gets multiplied when it's poured into these kind of projects, the ones that we're really excited about. This is the energy of desire. It's the energy of possibility, of dreams. It's the energy of want, right? It's yes energy. Like we are chasing something, pursuing something that we actually want. It sort of pulls us toward it, if I'm honest. When it's something that we really want, there's a magnetic pull toward it, and it will shape our behavior. It will fuel us with energy that we didn't know we had. It's much lighter. And I wonder if you're being pulled toward that yes energy. Like if you sit back and say, do I want to live lighter in 2024? Do I want my life to feel less heavy? I've been talking for several years now about finding more ease and flow is the language I often use. I want to find ease and flow in my life, right? A sense of rhythm. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, right? Life isn't always easy, but can I move through with a little more fluidity, a little more grace, not feeling so, clunky and heavy and weighed down, not having this need to be racing around because there's too much to do. And I really think the answer might pivot on that one little word, and it's want. What do we want? What do we yearn for? What will we pursue? What's worth it? Hi, it's Cherylanne. Thanks for listening. Did you know that the ideas I share on this show are things I also can help you implement? If you want me in your corner helping you find more time for what fills you up, go to brilliant-balance.com/schedule and sign up for a free exploratory call. Give yourself this time. You'll be so glad you did. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you want as you think about this year? And the more clear that you are about what it is that you want, the easier this whole thing is going to be, the easier this whole year is going to feel. Second question is, why do you want it? Now, that's not always obvious. Full disclosure, trying to get at why you want it. In other words, what does it represent to you? That desire that's planted in your heart, that dream, that thing that you think you want. Why do you want it? Now, there's a clue. The clue is, how do you think it will make you feel? How do you think it will make you feel? If you can get clear about how this thing you want in your mind, how it will make you feel, that's a pretty big clue as to why you want it. Because here is a secret. Most of the things that we want aren't about the thing at all, right? It's not about the degree. It's not about the new house. It's not about the car. It's not about the job. It's about how we believe that thing will make us feel. So if you can get clear about what you want, and by the way, there is no judgment coming from me on anything that goes on your list of what you want. You want what you want. Let yourself do that, right? Why you want it. How do I think this is going to make me feel? What's my hunch that this is going to shift the way I feel in some way for the better, or you probably wouldn't want it. Okay. And then third question, what are you willing to do to get it? What are the behaviors? What are the actions that when you take them either one time or that you take them with consistency, do you believe will lead you toward this thing? So whatever it is that you want, getting clear about why you want it and how you think it'll make you feel, and then getting very clear with yourself on what you're willing to do to get that thing, and also what you're willing to give up. Maybe temporarily, like what are you willing to pause or what are you willing to trade off in order to free up the resources that you'll need to go get this thing? That could be time resources that have to get redirected from something else. It could be financial resources. It could be, your energy has to get poured into something, whether that's your mental energy, like your cognitive load that's available, or your emotional energy, or your physical energy, right? Your attention has to move toward this thing that you want. And I'm going to go on a limb and say that the reason so many resolutions and goals fail at the new year is that there's a lack of clarity about one of these things, right? We might say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this thing. I can tell you what the top resolutions are. They are always about, the latest terminology would be getting healthier, right? It's often code for losing weight, but behaviors around health, behaviors around getting organized. So I'm going to get my home organized. I'm going to get my life in order. This is why we sell so much organizing equipment and storage stuff at this time of year. If you go to the stores in January, what are you confronted with? A lot of stuff about health. So supplements and vitamins and, healthier foods are everywhere on display. Gym memberships are off the charts in terms of sales in January. All of the organizing equipment and tools, right? And the other one is to save more money in some way, improve your financial situation. So it could be framed as getting out of debt, paying off debt. It could be increasing savings. It could be meeting a particular goal as it relates to income. So there's always the kind of third big bucket would be financial goals that end up very often in resolutions. So think back to your previous 3, 5, 10 years of resolutions. How often did they fit into one of those buckets? And when they fail, the question is often we're not clear enough about what it is that we really want, what we're willing to do to get it, what we're willing to give up or change or pause or trade off in pursuit of that. When we get clear about those things, it is much, much, much easier to stick with the behaviors that help us get the things we actually want, because we're chasing something we genuinely care about, that we see the connection between that thing and value in our life, which is always rooted in how we're going to feel. And I'm going to argue that this year, the frame that I would love this community to be in is thinking about what would feel lighter. There is so much heavy in the world around us. There's so much heavy in our own lives. We make everything so hard. If you're feeling the pull to live lighter in 2024, I want to help. And so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do a lot of things this year about this, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to host, for the first time in a while, a free live masterclass. This one's going to happen on January 17th, so just a couple of weeks from now. Pause. Yes, the 17th. Why? Why am I not doing this on January 3rd or January 4th? Because I promise you that as much as you think you want to dive headfirst into 2024 today, you're not quite ready, right? Go wrap up the holidays. Get the kids back in school. Get back in a groove at work, right? Get yourself to the grocery store. And also let all of that frantic, like resolution energy burn off where we feel like I have to change everything right this second. Let all of that burn off, and then I will be ready for you. January 17th, we will meet together. You're going to be with me live online in this masterclass. And I am going to teach during this masterclass. It's going to be some of the most important nuggets that I can plant in your mind as you begin this year. And I promise you, you will not be late. You will be right on time if you are doing this work in mid-January. You're going to leave this event with me with a really clear vision of how you want to feel in 2024, a really clear sense of how you want to feel. You're going to leave with permission to reconnect with your dreams as like beacons of purpose. The energy of those dreams is so powerful, and we push them aside in the name of resolutions we think we should make. I want to get that reconnected. You'll leave with a goal-setting approach that actually works, right? One that has no more abandoned resolutions for you. This is an approach that actually works so that you can consistently stick with it. You're going to leave with tools to let go of the things that are weighing you down so that you can do more of what lights you up. All right. We are also going to talk about how to find the courage to take bold action without the guilt of worrying what other people will think. I know that one of the number one things that gets in the way of women in this community is the guilt that comes with doing what you want to do instead of what you think you should do or someone else wants you to do. And we're going to talk about how to source that courage. And you're going to leave this event with me in your corner, reminding you that yes, you can. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can live lighter. Even if you're doubting yourself, even as you hear me today, if there's a little glimmer of doubt in the corner of your mind, I want to be right there answering that doubt with yes, you can. You can register for this event. It's going to be so easy. Brilliant-balance.com, where we always send you to my website, /masterclass, all one word. Once you get yourself registered, we'll send you the details that you'll need. You'll put it on your calendar, and then you'll go do what you need to do for the next couple of weeks before we convene on the 17th. It's brilliant-balance.com /masterclass, all one word. I'm going to link it in the show notes for you so that you have an easy way to get to it. Okay. Between now and then, you know what you need to do. Wrap up the holidays, get everybody back on the road for this year, get those school rhythms reestablished, get your work rhythms reestablished. That's what I want you thinking about before we head into this class together. Also, tell your friends. If you have friends and colleagues who you know the things I said today might resonate with, they're probably going to love this masterclass. So when you get this link, flip it over to them, tell them to join you there. And I am going to be getting all of my ducks in a row to be ready for you on the 17th as I get my own household back in order following the holidays. That is all for today, my friends. Until next time, let's be brilliant. I'll see you on the 17th.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.